During a rainy day, Fujimiya, a high school student, notices Mahiru, his classmate, all by herself in a park. Despite never having spoken before, he kindly offers her his umbrella. The following day, Fujimiya catches a cold as a result of giving away his umbrella. He confides in his friend, Itsuki, sharing that he had given it to a girl who seemed lost. It's worth noting that Mahiru, his classmate, is highly regarded in their class due to her exceptional academic achievements and her impressive athletic abilities. Although Fujimiya and Mahiru don't communicate during school hours, Fujimiya discovers Mahiru at his apartment after classes. To Fujimiya's surprise, Mahiru attempts to return the umbrella. As it turns out, Mahiru is not only his classmate but also his neighbor, living alone as well. When Fujimiya's cold worsens, Mahiru offers her assistance but notices his apartment is full of mess. Mahiru takes care of Fujimiya while he is sick and cooks him porridge. Mahiru is good at cooking because she lives alone, but she wonders why Fujimiya's apartment is so messy. Fujimiya asks Mahiru why she was alone in the rain that day and if she had a fight with her boyfriend. This revelation upsets Mahiru, who clarifies that she doesn't have a boyfriend. Fujimiya expresses gratitude for her assistance but believes that she doesn't owe him anything, suggesting that she doesn't need to talk to him anymore. He assumes that someone as popular as Mahiru wouldn't be interested in spending time with someone like him. Fujimiya experiences a significant improvement in his health the following day. At school, he engages in a conversation with his friend, Itsuki, discussing the popularity and unapproachable nature of Mahiru. However, that evening, while enjoying a drink on his balcony, Mahiru catches sight of Fujimiya and makes an unexpected discovery. She learns that Fujimiya, who lacks cooking skills, relies on energy drinks and fast food as his primary sustenance. Mahiru can't stand how sad Fujimiya's living situation is, so she gives him some leftover food from her own dinner. Fujimiya calls her an angel, but Mahiru asks him not to use that word. Fujimiya finds the leftovers really tasty. Upon returning the container, Fujimiya discovers that Mahiru has prepared additional food for him the following day. This becomes a recurring pattern, with Mahiru consistently providing meals for him. In response, Fujimiya takes on the role of cooking for Mahiru every day, ensuring that she has a healthy diet and maintains a good appetite. After a few days, Itsuki notices that Fujimiya appears to be in improved spirits at school, which confuses Fujimiya regarding the recent turn of events. Later, after the school day ends, Fujimiya coincidentally encounters Mahiru at a nearby supermarket. He observes Mahiru carefully selecting items while keeping her budget in mind, aiming to maximize the value of the money provided by her family. Fujimiya assists Mahiru in carrying her groceries home, but they choose to take different paths because Fujimiya assumes that Mahiru prefers not to be seen together with him. The following day, Mahiru discovers Fujimiya attempting to clean his apartment, only to find it in such a disarray that he feels overwhelmed and doesn't know where to begin. Recognizing Fujimiya's struggle, Mahiru takes it upon herself to teach him the proper techniques for cleaning his apartment and doing laundry, considering Fujimiya's lack of expertise in these areas. It takes them the entire day to clean, and as evening approaches, Fujimiya suggests ordering takeout for dinner. To his surprise, Fujimiya learns that Mahiru has never experienced fast food before. Additionally, he discovers that Mahiru comes from a privileged background and has never had the opportunity to try pizza. During their dinner, Fujimiya wonders why Mahiru, who comes from a rich family, lives alone and manages her expenses carefully. Later, Fujimiya confronts Mahiru about cooking for him every day. Mahiru tells him that she cooks because it brings her joy and considers their shared meals a lucky outcome. On a particular day, Fujimiya discovers Mahiru injured at the park. Mahiru had attempted to rescue a cat trapped in a tree and ended up spraining her ankle in the process. Fujimiya, having some experience with medicine, aids in treating her injury. He then proposes to carry her back to their apartment complex. However, Mahiru expresses her reluctance to be recognized by others and prefers to avoid drawing attention. Fujimiya provides her with a jacket to wear, allowing her to conceal her identity and avoid being recognized by others. Mahiru expresses her apologies for causing trouble, but Fujimiya reassures her by stating that he would never abandon someone in her situation. The following day, during their PE class, Fujimiya discusses with Itsuki about their classmate Yuta, who is renowned as the school's prince, and Mahiru, who holds the title of the school's angel. Intrigued, Fujimiya initiates a conversation with Mahiru later that night, asking if she is interested in Yuta since many girls at school seem to be attracted to him. However, Mahiru enlightens him by emphasizing that good looks aren't the sole determining factor in matters of attraction. Mahiru provides Fujimiya with his dinner for the day, prompting him to ponder casually if he could enjoy her cooking while it's still fresh. To Fujimiya's surprise, Mahiru agrees that they could have a meal together if he shares the cost of the ingredients with her. However, she playfully warns Fujimiya that if he attempts any romantic advances, she will promptly reject him. Mahiru believes that she may not be Fujimiya's preferred type because they both don't exhibit a strong romantic interest in each other. However, she feels comfortable and at ease around Fujimiya because he doesn't behave like other guys typically do. For their next meal, Mahiru visits Fujimiya's house to take charge of the cooking while Fujimiya idly sits on the couch, unable to contribute much. Mahiru skillfully prepares a remarkable variety of dishes, impressing Fujimiya with her culinary skills. Fujimiya thoroughly enjoys the meal, finding each dish incredibly delicious. However, Fujimiya feels slightly unsettled about the situation since he and Mahiru don't have a defined relationship with each other. Meanwhile, the class receives their test results, and Fujimiya discovers that he has performed admirably, achieving a good score. Itsuki and his girlfriend, Chitos, playfully tease Fujimiya, suggesting that he is too dedicated to his studies to engage in flirtation. When Chitos learns that Fujimiya has grown closer to a particular girl, she expresses interest in becoming friends with her. However, Fujimiya chooses not to disclose Mahiru's identity to Chitos. Following their dinner, Fujimiya stumbles upon Mahiru engrossed in her studies and makes an astonishing revelation. Not only does Mahiru hold the highest score in their class, but she is also studying material intended for the next academic year due to her exceptional advancement. Fujimiya thinks that Mahiru should take a break, but she insists on having good grades. Later, Fujimiya accidentally finds out that Mahiru's birthday is in 4 days. Later on, Fujimiya attempts to discreetly inquire about Mahiru's birthday wishes, but she simply expresses her desire for improved cooking knives. Seeking guidance, Fujimiya approaches Itsuki and Chitos at school, seeking their advice. They suggest opting for a casual and modest gift. Taking their advice to heart, Fujimiya presents Mahiru with hand cream and a teddy bear on her birthday. Initially, Mahiru hesitates to accept the gifts as she intended to keep her birthday a secret. However, when Fujimiya explains that the presents are a gesture of appreciation for her cooking, she relents and expresses her gratitude. Mahiru discloses that she never discloses her birthday at school, highlighting her preference for maintaining privacy in that regard. Fujimiya ponders the reason behind his comfort in knowing Mahiru's birthday, despite their initial status as strangers. However, Mahiru assures him that they are not strangers, leaving Fujimiya feeling perplexed about the nature of their relationship. One day, Fujimiya receives an unexpected visit from his mother, Shihoko, at his apartment. Despite his attempts to dissuade her, she enters by asserting that she and his father are the ones paying the rent. To Fujimiya's surprise, Shihoko admires the cleanliness of his apartment and notices his apparent interest in maintaining a good diet. Coincidentally, Mahiru happens to be present in Fujimiya's apartment at the time of Shihoko's arrival, leading Fujimiya to hastily hide her in his bedroom. However, Shihoko becomes suspicious when she observes dishes set for 2 people, arousing her curiosity. Shihoko insists on entering Fujimiya's bedroom despite his attempts to prevent her, leading to her unexpected discovery of Mahiru peacefully napping inside. Shihoko playfully comments on Mahiru's cuteness and Fujimiya promptly denies any romantic involvement between them. Shihoko advises Fujimiya to only invite girls he genuinely cares about to his apartment. Meanwhile, Mahiru wakes up and feels embarrassed by the situation, while Shihoko introduces herself to her. Shihoko persists in her demand for Fujimiya to address Mahiru by her first name, despite Mahiru's attempts to clarify that they are merely friends. Unfortunately, Shihoko remains unresponsive to anyone's explanations, leading to a misunderstanding of the situation. Later on, Fujimiya and Mahiru clarify to Shihoko that Mahiru visits solely to cook and clean the apartment. However, Shihoko perceives their meeting as destiny and cautions Mahiru about Fujimiya's lack of experience with girls. Before leaving the apartment, Shihoko playfully teases Fujimiya and Mahiru, causing Fujimiya to apologize to Mahiru for the awkward day. However, Mahiru is unperturbed and finds Shihoko endearing and kind. In the midst of their conversation, Mahiru accidentally reveals that her parents never address her by her first name. Subsequently, Fujimiya starts calling her by her first name, and in return, Mahiru addresses him by his first name. They decide to keep this intimate exchange as their little secret. As a symbol of trust, Fujimiya entrusts Mahiru with a spare key to his apartment. At school, Fujimiya performs well in the tests, but as expected, Mahiru achieves the highest score. To celebrate her achievement and offer encouragement, Fujimiya decides to purchase a cake for her. However, Mahiru is taken aback by the gesture since being the top scorer is not uncommon for her diligent nature. In a surprising turn of events, Mahiru suggests they enjoy the cake together, leading to an awkward moment as they begin feeding each other. At a later time, Fujimiya starts to sense that Mahiru is pampering him to some extent. As a result, he decides to take the initiative and go grocery shopping to cook for himself. Coincidentally, he encounters Mahiru, who expresses doubts about his cooking skills. To assist him, Mahiru oversees his cooking process. Unfortunately, due to Fujimiya's limited experience in the kitchen, his culinary attempt doesn't turn out as expected. Nevertheless, Mahiru continues to provide encouragement, emphasizing the significance of making the effort and assuring him that he will improve with time. Fujimiya expresses his desire for Mahiru to continue cooking, but he also wishes to contribute and assist her occasionally. Meanwhile, at school, Chitos and Itsuki inquire about using Fujimiya's apartment for a Christmas Eve party. Initially, Fujimiya attempts to decline the request, but eventually agrees on the condition that the party concludes before dinner time. Later, Fujimiya approaches Mahiru and asks about her plans for Christmas Eve. Mahiru explains that she will be alone since her friends will be spending the evening with their boyfriends. Fujimiya sympathizes with Mahiru's situation and proposes that they spend Christmas together. Mahiru agrees, with the condition that Fujimiya teaches her how to play his video games. On Christmas Eve, Chitos and Itsuki come over to Fujimiya's apartment for the party and express surprise at how clean it is. Chitos brings up the fact that several boys asked Mahiru to spend Christmas with them, but she turned them down. As it begins to snow, Chitos and Itsuki go to the balcony to enjoy the view. To their surprise, they spot Mahiru on her own balcony, realizing that Mahiru and Fujimiya are neighbors. Back inside the apartment, Fujimiya and Mahiru clarify the situation to Itsuki and Chitos. Mahiru expresses that she noticed Fujimiya's lonely and messy living conditions and wanted to lend a helping hand, but emphasizes that their relationship is purely platonic. Itsuki finds their dynamic a bit unusual, while Chitos ponders over the unique nature of their pairing. Chitos and Itsuki promise to maintain confidentiality regarding Fujimiya and Mahiru's living arrangement, with Chitos remarking that their classmates would find it hard to believe. Chitos makes an effort to befriend Mahiru, but Mahiru feels a bit embarrassed and shy. They engage in formal introductions and gradually ease into casual conversation. Chitos initiates a discussion with Mahiru about cooking, expressing her desire to enhance her culinary abilities. As they depart, Fujimiya apologizes to Mahiru for the revelation of their secret, but she reassures him that she enjoyed their time with the others. Although deep down, Fujimiya had wished their secret could have remained hidden for a little longer. Mahiru arrives with a delicious homemade beef stew, surpassing Fujimiya's expectations for dinner. During their meal, she shares that she acquired her cooking skills from the woman who raised her. Later, Mahiru engages in playing video games for the first time, displaying some initial clumsiness. However, with practice, she gradually improves. Fujimiya playfully teases her about her amusing mishaps, and as a reward for achieving first place in the game, he presents her with a prize. Fujimiya decides to gift Mahiru a practical key case, knowing her preference for useful presents. This gesture follows his earlier act of giving her a spare key. To his surprise, Fujimiya discovers that Mahiru has exchanged contact information with his mother, who has been sending her pictures of a younger Fujimiya. As Mahiru playfully adjusts his hair, she realizes that with a little tidying up, he could be quite handsome. In a tender moment, Mahiru presents Fujimiya with a scarf as a token of their growing connection. Later, when Fujimiya tries to compliment her, Mahiru hushes him, blushing with embarrassment. They eventually find themselves on the balcony, where Fujimiya begins to appreciate the beauty of their everyday life together. The following day, Mahiru realizes that she is coming down with a cold. Concerned for her well-being and grateful for her previous care, Fujimiya insists on looking after her. As Mahiru prefers to keep her apartment a secret, Fujimiya arranges for her to rest in his own bed. Surprisingly, Mahiru requests to hold hands until she drifts off to sleep, and Fujimiya readily agrees to her request. Later on, Fujimiya takes care of Mahiru by feeding her and tending to her needs. During their time together, Mahiru shares that she learned cooking from her family's maid, Koyuki. Fujimiya attentively watches over Mahiru until she falls asleep, but as he reflects on his feelings, he becomes upset realizing that he has developed romantic feelings for her. On New Year's Eve, Fujimiya and Mahiru are together when Fujimiya receives a text from his parents informing him of their visit the following day. As they relax on the couch, Mahiru, exhausted from preparing food all day, falls asleep leaning on Fujimiya. Feeling a bit self-conscious, Fujimiya carefully moves her to his bed and sleeps on the sofa. The next morning, Mahiru wakes up in Fujimiya's room with him by her side. She admits that she briefly woke up during the night but chose to stay in the room. Later, Shuto and Shihoko, Fujimiya's parents, arrive at the apartment with their luggage. Shuto formally introduces himself to Mahiru, who is also present in the apartment. Shuto reassures Mahiru that if Fujimiya ever mistreats her, they will scold him. The four of them engage in conversation while enjoying a cup of tea. During their chat, Mahiru learns that Fujimiya lives alone due to a past incident, which his parents mentioned. Shihoko expresses her desire to visit a shrine for New Year's, but Fujimiya worries about the possibility of their high school classmates seeing him and Mahiru together at the shrine. Chihoko kindly assists Mahiru in dressing traditionally for the shrine, and Mahiru is delighted to see that Fujimiya has also dressed up for the occasion. They visit a nearby shrine where they offer prayers, and Mahiru reveals to Fujimiya that she prayed for peaceful days ahead. Afterwards, they attend the shrine festival together, enjoying snacks and refreshments. During the festivities, they unintentionally share a kiss while drinking together. Later that night, as they bid each other good night, Fujimiya unexpectedly caresses Mahiru's hair. Mahiru doesn't take offense and playfully tells Fujimiya not to tease her, playfully retreating into her apartment while calling him a dummy. The following day, Fujimiya's parents bid their farewell but invite Fujimiya to visit them in the summer, subtly hinting that he should bring Mahiru along. At school, they learn about rumors circulating that Mahiru might have a boyfriend due to her being seen at the shrine on New Year's. Fortunately, nobody has been able to identify Amane, ensuring that their secret remains safe. Fujimiya considers their situation fortunate, as he believes they should avoid being seen together. However, Mahiru scolds him for his self-deprecating attitude and encourages him to have more confidence, assuring him that her compliments are genuine. As weeks pass by, Valentine's Day approaches. Chidos visits Fujimiya's apartment seeking his advice on what chocolates to give to Itsuki. Fujimiya suggests asking Mahiru, noting her better sense in such matters. Their conversation about Valentine's Day serves as a reminder to Fujimiya of his growing feelings for Mahiru. During their tea time, Mahiru shares that she refrains from giving chocolates to boys at their school to avoid causing rumors. Chidos enthusiastically offers to buy chocolates for Mahiru instead. The following day, Fujimiya and Itsuki observe their classmate Yuta receiving numerous chocolates from various girls. Itsuki reveals that he received chocolates from Chidos and wonders if Mahiru might give some to Fujimiya. Chidos presents Fujimiya with spicy chocolate, wishing him good luck. In a playful gesture, Fujimiya offers Yuta a shopping bag to conveniently carry all his chocolates. In the evening at his apartment, Fujimiya receives a cup of hot chocolate from Mahiru. Later, he discovers a gift of homemade unsweetened chocolate from her. The following day at school, Yuta returns the bag to Fujimiya, which sparks rumors since they don't typically interact. Itsuki discusses his relationship goals with Fujimiya, expressing his desire to marry Chidos with her parents' consent. Fujimiya, despite Mahiru's assurance that it wasn't necessary, decides to give her a gift on White Day. Mahiru recently discovered that Fujimiya's birthday had passed before Christmas and feels slightly annoyed that he didn't mention it. She suggests celebrating it next year, which brings a sense of embarrassment as it implies they will still be together. The following day, Fujimiya goes to purchase a gift for White Day and is pleasantly surprised to see Mahiru dressed up in the evening. He presents her with a bracelet and a ticket for something of her choice, and she uses the ticket to request him to put the bracelet on her. A profound moment between Fujimiya and Mahiru lingers in his thoughts, occupying his mind the following day. Seeking guidance, Fujimiya turns to Itsuki for advice. Itsuki discerns that Fujimiya is suppressing his feelings for Mahiru, possibly due to a fear of rejection and the potential consequences it may have on their relationship. One evening, Fujimiya discovers Mahiru wearing an apron, and while he appreciates their deepening connection, he becomes anxious about his own emotions. Another day at school, Itsuki approaches Fujimiya and asks if he can spend the night at his apartment due to a disagreement with his father. Fujimiya agrees and allows Itsuki to stay over. Mahiru kindly prepares a delicious dinner for the two of them, which greatly impresses Itsuki. Later that night, Itsuki advises Fujimiya that it is only a matter of time before his true feelings are revealed and encourages him to confess his emotions sooner or later. However, Fujimiya stubbornly refuses to do so. Concerned about Itsuki, Chidos takes the initiative to invite herself over to Fujimiya's apartment to check on him. She is not only eager to enjoy Mahiru's cooking but also curious to witness a different side of her outside of school. Impressed by the delicious dinner Mahiru prepares, they all share a pleasant evening together. During their conversation, Chidos remarks that Mahiru often appears distant at school and expresses her appreciation for getting to know her better in this casual setting. Mahiru agrees to reciprocate the visit and invites Chidos to her own apartment. Later that night, Chidos sends Fujimiya some pictures of Mahiru from their time together. Among the pictures, Fujimiya stumbles upon one revealing that Mahiru cherishes the teddy bear he gifted her, which warms his heart. However, Mahiru becomes embarrassed by the picture the following day. The next day, Fujimiya witnesses a heated confrontation between Mahiru and a woman who turns out to be her mother, Seo. Mahiru discloses that her mother harbors resentment towards her due to being an unplanned child, which has strained their relationship. Within the confines of the apartment, Mahiru discloses a heartbreaking truth about her parents' relationship. She explains that her parents' marriage was not founded on love but rather on strategic business arrangements. Since they never intended to have children, they neglected their parental responsibilities and assigned servants to attend to Mahiru's care. Throughout her upbringing, Mahiru was devoid of affection from her parents, who merely provided her with monetary support. In an attempt to gain their love and attention, she poured her efforts into excelling academically and in sports, but even now, her presence remains unnoticed and disregarded by her parents. Upon learning about Mahiru's parents' desire to divorce but being unable to do so because of her, Fujimiya provides comfort and support. Embracing her, he allows her to express her emotions and consoles her. Fujimiya uplifts her spirits by offering sincere compliments, assuring her that she is a remarkable individual regardless of her family's opinions. He reminds Mahiru that her hard work and kindness are recognized by others, including himself, his parents, Itsuki, and Chitos, who all deeply care for her and consider her to be extraordinary. They embark on a stroll to admire the blooming cherry blossoms, and to Fujimiya's surprise, Mahiru embraces him. Opening up, Mahiru confesses that she had never truly appreciated the beauty of cherry blossoms in the past due to her loneliness during springtime. However, being with Fujimiya has changed her perspective, and as they hold hands, she admits that her fondness for cherry blossoms has grown. As the new school year begins, Fujimiya finds himself in the same class as Mahiru. However, the presence of Yuta in their class triggers memories of Fujimiya's difficult middle school days. Sensing his melancholy, Mahiru astutely observes Fujimiya's subdued mood and offers him comfort. She invites him to rest his head on her lap while she affectionately plays with his hair. Mahiru shares that Chitos mentioned the soothing effect of head pats, and she lovingly pats his head, hoping to bring him solace. While discussing their shared class, Mahiru expresses her excitement about being in the same class as Fujimiya. However, Fujimiya is filled with concern, fearing that their secret might be exposed to their classmates. As Fujimiya's worries weigh on him, he eventually drifts off to sleep, finding comfort in Mahiru's presence. When he awakens, feeling rejuvenated, Mahiru assures him that he can always lean on her for support during difficult times. Later, Fujimiya visits the arcade to win more stuffed animals for Mahiru, relishing in her delight as she plays with them and tenderly patting her head. Grateful for his efforts, Mahiru insists on reciprocating his kindness and offers to make pudding for him that evening. The pudding proves to be absolutely delicious, and Fujimiya expresses his sincere gratitude to Mahiru for everything she has done. This heartfelt display of appreciation causes Mahiru to feel bashful and embarrassed. The following day, Yuta approaches Fujimiya and Itsuki, extending an invitation to have lunch together. Fujimiya feels hesitant about Yuta's sudden friendliness and questions his intentions. Sensing Fujimiya's skepticism, Mahiru observes the situation with a sidelong glance and later confesses that she feels a twinge of jealousy seeing how easily Itsuki and Yuta can engage in open conversations with Fujimiya during class. Contemplating ways to boost Fujimiya's self-confidence, Mahiru considers the idea of engaging in conversations with him during class. The perfect opportunity arises when their teacher announces a group cooking project, and Mahiru seizes the chance to partner with Fujimiya. Joining their project are Itsuki and Chitos, creating a lighthearted atmosphere where they playfully tease Fujimiya about his poor cooking skills. Amidst the banter, Fujimiya realizes that he is the only one in the group who genuinely struggles in the kitchen. During the school project, as they near completion, a clumsy classmate nearly spills hot food on Mahiru, but Fujimiya swiftly intervenes and protects her. He reprimands their classmates for their carelessness, leading to their peers being assigned the task of cleaning up the mess. The incident catches the attention of their classmates, who notice the growing familiarity between Fujimiya and Mahiru. Later that night, Mahiru feels upset because she desires to act casually with Fujimiya in public, but he remains hesitant. With a week-long break from school approaching, the class ponders their plans, and while Mahiru had promised to teach Chitos how to cook, she hasn't made any other arrangements. They make plans to go shopping together, and Mahiru insists on using the coupon Fujimiya gave her on White Day. They decide to spend the entire day together, exploring different shops. Meanwhile, Chitos arrives at Mahiru's place for a cooking lesson. As Mahiru teaches Chitos, Fujimiya unintentionally falls asleep on the sofa. Later, Chitos playfully teases them about how adorable they are together. Fujimiya takes the opportunity to taste the dishes they prepared and finds them absolutely delicious. Once Chitos departs, Mahiru apologizes for disturbing Fujimiya while he was asleep, but he reassures her that it's not a problem. They discuss their outfits for their outing, and Fujimiya expresses his preference for a stylish appearance. Later, he notices that Mahiru has put effort into dressing up for the occasion, though she feels a bit self-conscious about it. At the cat cafe, Mahiru enjoys playing with the cats while ordering an adorable drink that she finds too cute to consume. As they interact with the feline companions, Fujimiya playfully likens Mahiru to a cat, noting how her friendliness and affection grew over time, much like a cat's. Mahiru jokingly accuses Fujimiya of treating her as though she were a cat. During their shopping trip, a group of girls approaches Fujimiya, and Mahiru instinctively displays a protective attitude towards him. Afterwards, Mahiru successfully wins a cat plushie from an arcade game and presents it to Fujimiya. As they continue their outing, they unexpectedly encounter Yuta, who mistakenly assumes they are in a romantic relationship. clarifying the situation, they request Yuta to keep their secret from their classmates. In a conversation with Mahiru, Fujimiya opens up about his concerns regarding Yuta, and Mahiru keenly observes the reemergence of his self-esteem issues. She provides him with heartfelt encouragement, urging him to embrace a greater sense of self-confidence. The following day, Fujimiya spends time with Yuta and Itsuki, and to his surprise, Yuta astutely discerns that Fujimiya's feelings for Mahiru run deeper than he admits. Upon returning home that evening, Fujimiya discovers Mahiru engrossed in his childhood photos sent by his mother. In a moment of shared intensity, their interaction becomes tangled, causing them to stumble into each other. As they draw closer, on the brink of a potential kiss, Fujimiya abruptly restrains himself and withdraws, leaving Mahiru visibly disappointed. With Mother's Day approaching, Mahiru gently prompts Fujimiya to do something special for his mother, Shihoko. Although Fujimiya intends to send gifts to his parents, he has no plans to visit them in person. Puzzled by his living arrangements, Mahiru questions why Fujimiya lives alone and why his parents allow it, considering his lack of culinary and housekeeping skills. Initially hesitant to share his past, Fujimiya eventually confides in Mahiru about his experiences in his hometown. He explains how he had 3 friends in middle school who took advantage of him for money and spread hurtful rumors. This betrayal shattered his trust in others, leading him to isolate himself and eventually transfer schools. However, Mahiru assures him that he can always rely on her and offers unwavering support. Fujimiya feels uneasy about relying on Mahiru not only for domestic tasks, but also for emotional support. However, their concerns are resolved as they embrace each other, and Mahiru expresses her genuine care for Fujimiya. She reassures him that she doesn't want to witness him feeling down and that her support is unique to their connection. Fujimiya finds inspiration in Mahiru's support, motivating him to work on improving himself and his self-confidence. However, rumors circulate in their school when a classmate spots Mahiru with another guy. Mahiru confirms that she was indeed on a date with someone precious to her. That night, she assures Fujimiya that she was not lying and that he is the person she treasures. Despite Fujimiya's concerns about their classmates' perceptions when their secret relationship is revealed, Mahiru uplifts his spirits by emphasizing that it doesn't matter what others think. Fujimiya experiences a dream of an intimate nature involving Mahiru, causing him to feel embarrassed and behave oddly around her. Sensing his distant demeanor, Mahiru confronts him, and Fujimiya musters the courage to share the details of his dream, much to her amusement. Mahiru playfully teases him for his discomfort, adding a lighthearted tone to the situation. As the upcoming class exams draw near, the group decides to study together. Mahiru, in a playful manner, promises Fujimiya a reward if he performs well. The group eventually gathers to study and share a meal. During their study session and shared meal, Fujimiya expresses his gratitude to Mahiru for her support. Unexpectedly, Mahiru confesses her affection for taking care of him, leaving Fujimiya shocked by her declaration of love. After the class exam scores are announced, Fujimiya finds out that he has ranked 6th, while Mahiru has once again secured the top spot. Wanting to acknowledge her achievement, Fujimiya asks Mahiru what reward she desires. However, she cryptically responds that her wish is something beyond his ability to fulfill. Impressed by Fujimiya's exam performance, Mahiru insists that he rests his head on her lap as a makeshift pillow. While he relaxes, Mahiru gently cleans his ear and plays with his hair, confessing that she secretly finds it enjoyable. Fujimiya eventually drifts off to sleep in her comforting embrace, only to awaken and realize that Mahiru had also fallen asleep. Concerned for her well-being, Fujimiya carefully escorts the drowsy Mahiru back to her apartment, where he catches a glimpse of her bedroom for the very first time. Feeling exhausted, Mahiru, in her drowsy state, requests that Fujimiya sleep beside her. However, Fujimiya, overcome with embarrassment, decides to leave instead. The following day, Mahiru apologizes for falling asleep and nervously inquires if Fujimiya noticed anything unusual in her bedroom. Fujimiya assures her that he only spotted her collection of recipe books and stuffed animals. However, he candidly reveals that she had invited him to share the bed, leaving Mahiru shocked by her own actions. Mahiru subtly suggests her desire to share a bed with Fujimiya, but he purposefully interrupts her and shifts the conversation elsewhere. As summer arrives, Mahiru switches to the summer uniform, deliberately showcasing her bare legs to Fujimiya in an attempt to elicit a response from him about his attraction to her exposed limbs. During school, the girls engage in gossip about Mahiru, speculating about her potential boyfriend and making subtle negative remarks. Fujimiya shares this with Mahiru in the evening, and she acknowledges that due to her popularity, it's natural for others to gossip about her. Mahiru believes that the girls don't necessarily hate her as an individual, but rather dislike the facade of perfection she presents at school. Expressing his preference, Fujimiya openly declares that he finds the genuine Mahiru far more adorable than her angelic persona at school. Mahiru, acknowledging her weariness with maintaining that angelic facade, expresses her desire to simply be herself at all times. Fujimiya expresses his happiness at being able to witness her true self, which remains hidden from other guys at school. Mahiru playfully teases Fujimiya for his protective nature and assures him that he will always hold a significant place in her heart. As Mahiru showers him with compliments, Fujimiya, feeling embarrassed, playfully threatens to kiss her as a way to counter her teasing. However, his attempt to regain control of the situation backfires when Mahiru surprises him by kissing him on the cheek instead. She quickly retreats, leaving Fujimiya in a state of astonishment. The following day, Fujimiya attends school with a sense of awkwardness, prompting Itsuki to inquire about any developments between him and Mahiru. Itsuki and Yuta make concerted efforts to uplift Fujimiya's spirits and boost his self-assurance. Later that evening, Mahiru and Fujimiya engage in a conversation, reassuring each other that the earlier kiss held no significant meaning. However, both of them are concealing their true emotions. As sports day approaches, the class prepares for various competitions. Fujimiya, not particularly inclined towards athleticism, confides in Mahiru about his genuine dislike for being compelled to participate in sports activities. As they share food with each other, Fujimiya finds motivation to perform well in the upcoming competitions, driven by his desire to impress Mahiru. During the scavenger race, Fujimiya and Mahiru find themselves on opposing teams, but they collaborate and assist each other to complete the race together. In a surprising twist, they hold hands as they approach the finish line, leaving their classmates astonished by the sight of Mahiru holding hands with a male classmate. During the scavenger race, an unintended revelation occurs as Fujimiya and Mahiru are tasked with finding someone beautiful and someone special to them. This inadvertently exposes their mutual feelings for each other. As their male classmates confront Fujimiya about the sightings of him with Mahiru in the past, he finally admits that he was indeed the person seen with her on those occasions. In the presence of Mahiru, the guys openly criticize Fujimiya, suggesting that Mahiru deserves someone more exciting and fashionable than him. However, Mahiru firmly defends Fujimiya, emphasizing his kindness and non-judgmental nature, and asserts that it is none of their business. With their secret relationship exposed to the entire class and their feelings laid bare during the scavenger race, Fujimiya realizes that it's time for him to face and address his own emotions. In a sincere moment that evening, Fujimiya wholeheartedly expresses his apologies to Mahiru for deliberately and self-centeredly disregarding her emotions while she has been providing him with unwavering support. He confesses that due to his past experiences, he had lost faith in the possibility of depending on someone again. However, he now reveals that he has genuinely fallen in love with her. Expressing his gratitude, Fujimiya acknowledges how Mahiru has transformed him and bolstered his self-esteem, leading him to become a better version of himself. With heartfelt words, he musters the courage to ask her to be his girlfriend. Mahiru accepts his request, and they seal their newfound relationship with an affectionate embrace. And that brings the end to this video. If you enjoyed watching, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Also turn on notification bell so you'll never miss out new video. See you next time, take care.